We have with us this morning the President and CEO of the Energy Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Thackwray, DAX driver, no stranger to us here on Now. He was actually one of our very first guests when we launched the show back in September. So good morning and welcome.
Thank you.
So the Energy Conference has been renamed.
Yes. Well, this is our Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy Conference. I mean, we have our big sort of traditional energy conference in January every year, and this was our one now looking at renewables and energy efficiency. We've been calling it the Clean Energy Conference for the last few years, but we decided just to sort of call it what it is, which is the Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy Conference. So it's a two-day event on the 10th and 11th of June. The 10th of June, the first day, we're going to concentrate on energy efficiency, and the second day on the 11th, we're going to concentrate on renewable energy.
Yeah. Do you think we in Trinidad and Tobago focus on energy efficiency and energy renewables a lot?
Not enough.
Not enough.
So I think it's beginning to become, to become discussed a fair amount, but certainly we're late to the game. Energy efficiency in particular, we're very inefficient in how we use energy. So we've wasted a lot of this precious resource that we have over the decades of developing the industry, and we need to stop doing that because it's a precious and wasting resource. So we have to really be much more efficient in how we use particularly the natural gas that we have, but also our oil and the petroleum products in the transport sector. And then we also need to look at bringing in new sources of energy in. Solar and wind and I mean hydro and wave and all these other potentials. I mean, solar and wind are the two major ones for Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, we hear talk about this all the time.
Sure.
But the thing is, we don't see any policy or any implementation of anything to ensure that Trinidad and Tobago moves in this direction, because even in the media review, we didn't really hear anything from the Minister of Finance. And he focused on, he's expecting oil production to increase, what is happening with gas, but nothing really on renewables.
Well, yes, there wasn't very much in the midterm review about it, but there are things happening. So I think you need to sort of disaggregate those into two areas. One, there's things that companies are doing themselves. So that there's a push from the industry around energy efficiency in particular. We have had about 60 of our member companies have signed up to a declaration about being more efficient in how they use energy within their own operations. And companies are implementing projects themselves to be more efficient in how they're using energy. And then we also have the activities which the government is trying to encourage. I mean, on the renewable side, there's been this big effort to bring renewables onto the grid. There's a request for proposals which is closing in June, and we're hoping for good things coming out of that. So hopefully, by the end of this year, we're going to actually see some definite decisions about which projects are going to be brought on the grid to bring on. I mean, probably solar or wind is what the two most likely renewable and big developments to bring those onto the grid.
Now, this conference that you're having on the 10th and the 11th of June is not something new. It has happened before.
Sure.
When the conference is over, what happens next?
Well, the first thing is that people are sharing information with each other. So people understand what other companies are doing, learn from each other. So there's a big part of that, of networking, bringing people together, bringing like-minded people together to try to make sure that companies and individuals have the knowledge that they need to try to push forward their own activities for their companies. The second one is then trying to drive forward the policy. And so there's always issues which arise, why you have trouble implementing policies. So you have to talk those things through and find out what they are. I think sometimes people underestimate the importance of conversation to try to put to people to share information, that the things that they know which they haven't shared with other people, and they actually need to sit down and actually talk about those things and try to then find ways of overcoming those barriers. There's people sort of often say, oh, well, why do you have these talk shops? Well, if you only by talking the thing through and understanding it and having a conversation about it, can you find the solutions?
Yeah, because I think a lot of people would say that these are just talk shops and nothing ever happens, because the information is not really filtered down to the normal person on the street.
Yeah, but the decisions have to be made by policymakers, and you need people to influence the policymakers. So people who are involved in these processes talk with each other. They build coalitions of interest that arise through these sort of events, and then they work with the government and trying to identify the barriers, because we're making changes here, and making change, I think people sometimes underestimate how difficult that is.
Yeah, and in a culture where people don't like change that very much.
Of course.
And the theme for this year is industry collaboration for a low-carbon future.
That's right.
Why that theme?
Well, so what we're really looking at is how industry is working together. So how different stakeholders within the industry can work with each other, collaborate, and that includes obviously the government as the most important stakeholder in the whole thing, but also industry itself. What are the companies doing? So you may have one company who's implemented some set of policies which have helped them reduce their electricity bills, and they need to share that with other people so other people can learn from that as well. So that's where the collaboration idea comes together.
And where can we get more information on this?
Well, it's all on our website, energy.tt, and if you just follow the links from there, it has the full agenda. And there's also a lot of articles on our website around all these issues, around renewables and energy efficiency. You can see the declaration which people have signed and the commitments which companies have made to improve their energy efficiency and reduce their CO2 emissions. So you can see all of that, and there's a lot of information there.
Yes, so we'll definitely check out the website. Remember, the conference, Energy Efficiency and Renewables Conference, will take place on June 10th and 11th, and you can check out the Energy Chamber's website for more information on that. Thank you very much, Dr. Thackwray, DAX driver, for coming in and chatting with us this morning. We take a break and come back with more.